Was it 180 pounds? You be the judge. Oklahoma is now enforcing medical cannabis product testing via the labs. They're not. We'll get into it. Oklahoma medical marijuana dispensaries are suing Facebook. Yep. I mean, good luck. Good luck. Facebook has some money. Beer Bros Farm story on contaminated paper scare hitting cannabis pre-rolls in California. And I've got to say, I'm sure it's here too, and we just haven't caught it yet. Welcome to the podcast.
Smoke weed every day. With the lifting of high. Take totes of the marijuana smoke. Let's get high. I love you, Mary Jane. Smoke weed. For me, smoke is my life. Smoke weed. Smoke reefer. Inhale from the L's. Marijuana. I smoke 2 joints a night.
This 180 pounds of weed found floating down the creek in Oklahoma. Maybe about 2 pounds of actual weed. All right, check this out. Police are investigating the source of a dozen or so trash bags of marijuana. Keyword here, plants. Yeah, look at this. In the background, in this photo, you can't really see it, but if you go to look at that. Does that look like weed to you? Yeah, me either. A story out of Massachusetts where regulators have fined 3 companies a total of $800,000 for various infractions. We're also going to be talking about a little story about how cannabis growers can strategize to fight off costly RICO lawsuits, which is racketeering. Okay. Can America going to invest in an Oklahoma cannabis production facility out in Comanche? And looks like our proponents have proposed a new petition to legalize recreational marijuana in Oklahoma.
Take totes of the marijuana smoke. Let's get high. I love you, Mary Jane. Smoke weed. For me, smoke is my life. Smoke weed. Smoke reefer.
Firstly, we got a story from Beer Bros Farms. God, these guys put out some good news. In Worcester, Massachusetts, regulators have fined 3 companies a total of $800,000 for various infractions. The Cannabis Control Commission levied the fines against Garden Remedies, Inc., Healthy Farms, Inc., and Acreage Holdings, Inc., according to the Telegram and Gazette. Garden Remedies, which operates a recreational marijuana medical dispensary in Marlboro, was fined $200,000 for using pesticides, trying to cover up their use by falsifying invoices. So they used them, and I guess the problem was they hid that. Garden Remedies said in a statement that it fired the employees involved, whose actions were unknown to the executive team, which is, no, that's what a lie sounds like, guys. If you're an executive team of a giant grow and you get bugs, you think the employees just take over and use pesticides? No, the people who own the shit. If you own it, you want your crop to... Okay, that's a lie. That's probably a lie. Once the company understood the violations, we worked quickly to correct them and have implemented procedures to prevent them from happening again. Leo Gontmacher, CEO of Healthy Farms parent company Forefront Ventures, said in a statement. The botanist, owned by Acreage Holding Inc., was fined $250,000 for going forward with the applications for licensure while trying to own or have a controlling interest in more than the allowed maximum of 3 stores. Oh, my God. So just for attempting to open 3 stores, they fined him $250,000? God, this industry. An Acreage spokesman said that the company has terminated its relationship with the other 2 provisional license holders. So I wonder if that means they still have to pay. Did billboards write anything out? Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. God. All right. RICO lawsuits. How cannabis growers can strategize to fight off costly RICO lawsuits. On a recent racketeering lawsuit targeting more than 200 Oregon marijuana businesses and their executives resulted in a key victory for the cannabis industry in what could be a long-running fight. That victory also offered lessons for cannabis industry growers, processors, and other businesses who could be forced to confront future racketeer influence and corrupt organizations act, RICO cases. Damn. While it might seem the political tide is increasingly in favor of legal cannabis, many people remain wary of marijuana. God, what happened here? It's definitely an organized attack, said Robert Elam, owner of 7 Points, Oregon, a cultivation operation based in Portland, one of the defendants in the case. He estimates his legal defenses cost him about $8,000. You can't write that off either. RICO cases have been filed against cannabis companies in several other states, including California and Colorado, typically costing a cultivation operation owner a minimum several $1,000s in legal fees. So I guess they're not getting charged. Those filing suits often complain that nearby cannabis grows smell, for example, and decrease property values. I get it. Industry attorneys and business owners advise that cannabis growers looking to strengthen their defense against a possible RICO case should consider this: building a strong network of fellow cannabis business owners to defray legal costs. So, oh my God. Joining a marijuana trade association to share resources and keeping airtight business records. So what they're saying is this is coming no matter what, I guess. Alex Tinker, a Portland cannabis attorney who represented roughly 80 industry representatives and more than 20 businesses in the suit, said this case didn't fully arise out of someone being harmed by a neighboring cannabis company, but more out of a fight over the normalization of marijuana. It is at least somewhat a function of an organized effort to use this statute as a tool to attack the cannabis industry because prohibitionists have lost the cultural battle and have lost the legal battle, he said. Damn. So they're coming at you no matter what. God, this sucks for these people. The Oregon RICO suit was followed by plaintiff Laura Underwood. Hey, House of Cards much? Who allegedly in July 18 that smells from the neighboring marijuana processor diminished the use and enjoyment of her property. I mean, was she getting high from the scent? Named in the suit were 226 companies and their top brass, or principals, who conducted business with marijuana processor Oregon Candy Farm. 226 companies. Elam's 7 Points sold less than $1,000 worth of trim to be processed by Oregon Candy Farm. More than a year later, Elam received a packet in the mail that named him in a RICO case, which he said was terrifying. He contacted his attorney, who put Elam in touch with other defendants so they could share the cost of the legal fight. God. Just a tiny amount of revenue really cost us in a big way. According to Elam, his connection to other industry officials in the Oregon cannabis market, including participation in trade associations, helped him immensely. Being involved in the industry and knowing people and being able to talk it through is the most helpful thing we've done, he said. Some companies named the Oregon case paid to settle out of court. But Elam said he was encouraged to fight because he knew others were sticking it out. If 7 Points wouldn't have been able to share resources, the legal fees might have driven the company out of business, and the RICO case would have worked. God damn. We ended up just waiting it out because it's just wrong, he said. Stick it out. Tinker encouraged many in the industry to band together in legal cases to mitigate costs. If you spend several hundred thousands of dollars to defend a case through trial and you win, you still lost if you spent all that money, he says. In the case, a plaintiff who wins the case is entitled to be reimbursed for legal fees, but a prevailing defendant is not. Also, the plaintiffs could have received up to 3 times the damages. It is often a rational business decision, viewed in isolation, to pay a settlement even if the claims don't have any merit, Tinker said. The cost of defending the claims will exceed the settlement's price that's offered. God, what a fucked up system. He doesn't fault businesses for settling because it took risk off the table. That said, we have some guidelines for what kind of cases will stand, Tinker said. And in this case, we strongly encouraging all parties to stand true and fight it. There was a legal precedent that the facts in the case didn't support a RICO claim, so he advised his clients that there was little risk. It doesn't exactly say what happened. The East Fork cultivators are paying $10K in legal fees, 200 to 300 hours. But why the RICO case? I mean, you got the RICO damaging, it's like trying to sell a restaurant now. Swimmer said the RICO case might have damaged his company's reputation. Having the lawsuit hanging overhead was like trying to sell a restaurant now with COVID-19. What? I wonder what they did. How, I can't imagine the RICO case isn't weirding people out. When East Fork applied its latest rounds of U.S. Small Business Administration loans for the Paycheck Protection Program, part of the federal government's assistance during the coronavirus pandemic, the application asked if the company was in a pending lawsuit. Howard said the company did receive a PPP loan, but he wonders if the lawsuit affected the overall amount of East Fork would have received. As far as advice, Howard recommends cannabis businesses that touch the plant set up a separate limited liability companies, one for the grow and one for the property. That way, for instance, at least one of the companies is protected from a lawsuit targeting the plant-touching business. According to the IRS, it's not, but he would also like to see cannabis trade associations, both statewide and national, and marijuana attorneys in newer markets read up on precedents set in other states and try to put word out that these cases aren't successful in damaging the industry. However, Howard believes that would potentially would have a ripple effect by convincing anti-marijuana attorneys to realize RICO cases aren't a good tactic for squeezing these businesses and taking the final punch at prohibition. Whatever we can do so that people don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. I feel bad for you guys in Oregon. Dude, cannabis business is rough. You can't take normal taxes. Or you could be like whoever this is out in Comanche with a 5,000 square foot building on 2 acres of land and a cloning room with a CO2 extraction system was just invested in by Can America, a publicly traded company. Announced a letter of intent to invest in up to 25% stake, which is all you can take, in an Oklahoma cannabis production facility. So you could have millionaires come in and help you. There's that. In Oklahoma, I don't want to support that. Only $1 a month. They're hurting, but I hope they're okay. Recreational marijuana proponents file a new petition. Copy. The initiative petition, asking Oklahoma voters to legalize non-medicinal marijuana use, was filed in the Oklahoma Secretary of State's office late Friday, just 4 days after the same group withdrew a similar proposal. The original petition, designated State Question 806, was pulled after medical marijuana advocates complained that they had not been consulted and that the petition had not been fully vetted. Yeah, I heard about this. This is going to tax the shoot out of you guys. The new ballot initiative strengthens the language of previously filed initiative to ensure that we are crystal clear that this program does not adversely affect the current Oklahoma medical marijuana industry or its patients. Michelle Tilley, a spokeswoman for the filers, said in a press release. While we did not foresee any issues with our original language, we are strong supporters of the Oklahoma medical marijuana programs, and we felt it was worthwhile to eliminate any uncertainty. So that's why they changed it, I guess. The new petition, designated SQ 807, was signed by Tilley, an Oklahoma City political consultant, and Ryan Kiesel, a former state representative and the executive director of Oklahoma's American Civil Liberties Union's affiliate. Well, that is an acronym. The OACLUA. They replaced the original petitioners Vanessa Brandon Avery and Amy Young. They still support the effort, but they thought it would be better for proponents who have more experience out front on it, Tilley said in a follow-up email. The press release confirms that the petition effort is supported by New Approach PAC. Oh boy. A national political action committee supported largely by millionaire philanthropists, marijuana advocates Daniel Lewis and Henry Van Ermington. Meringen. And by Dr. Bronner's Magic Soaps. Oh, boy. Here they come. A California personal care product whose CEO, David Bronner, is referred to as the Cosmic Engagement Officer. Jesus. So this is the group here who ruined California's market. And they're trying to give us a recreational market. It's the same group that ruined whatever it is, Prop 64 in California. Look up about that. This is the same group that did that. I don't know how I feel about this. As a business, as a consumer, whatever. I mean, yeah, more weed for everybody. But as a business, this is the group that wrecked California's industry. Another major donor is Privateer Holdings, a Seattle-based company intent on becoming a global force in the emerging cannabis markets. What's up, Privateer Holdings? Throw some pot, talk some money. Also Friday, Tolson, Paul Tay, filed a competing recreational marijuana position designated SQ808, the drumbeat. The two-page petition leaves most questions of taxation and regulation to the state, but says the right of all persons to consume cannabis shall not be infringed. Okay. It also would require reparations be paid to all people incarcerated on marijuana charges. Damn. I wonder what that would cost. Before supporters can begin gathering the 178,000 signatures required to get either of the proposed constitutional amendments on the ballot, the petitions will be subject to a 10-day challenge period. All challenges must be resolved before signature gathering can begin. I don't know what that means. Oklahomans turned out in record numbers to approve medical marijuana in 2018 of June. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Today, we will be talking about the OMMA slushy machine guidance, which is, I mean, do you need a slushy license?
It's exciting.
It's very
I'm excited about it.
I may be applying for my slushy license soon.
I don't know about you, but with this heat, I love snow cones.
I do too.
Getting high while I'm eating my snow cones.
It's hot as shit outside.
That would be awesome.
Next, we're going to talk about FDA reporting on the purity of commercially available CBD products. Turns out you may not be eating what you thought you were eating, CBD percentage-wise.
Yeah, it's nice. Finally get some testing out there nationally, and you kind of figure out what's going on.
Right, and I think what we can come to conclusion is that none of the labs are testing the same. Next story, Beer Bros Farms brings us the best news that, I mean, on the internet usually, is how Disney and other theme parks handle medical marijuana and CBD. Welcome to the podcast. OMMA slushy machine guidance. You never thought you needed slushy machine guidance, but you've always wanted it. The OMMA has received multiple inquiries regarding the processing and dispensing of marijuana-infused slushies on site at medical marijuana dispensaries. It is the OMMA's position that marijuana-infused slushies are unlikely to meet requirements set forth in Oklahoma statutes and rules, including but not limited to. I'll let our legal team read this part because this is his language here.
And this, we're going to be getting into a lot of details here, but it's just exciting to see that there were multiple inquiries on this. That's kind of crazy that you didn't have just one person asking about slushy weed.
I would assume
many people across the metro and across the state are like, we need weed slushies.
We need weed slushies. This is important. And
how can we do this?
I've seen the machine. It looks fun, but I get what's happening is that if you have a license to make marijuana food and you package up the food and you're licensed to do that and then you sell it to a store and then they sell it and it's packaged, that is completely different than that store just using distillate to make slushies every morning. But nobody has any idea what's going into that. Then it's more of a hot food. You're getting like a Starbucks type situation.
So you're saying like the snow cone approach isn't safe?
It's
the snow cone stand weed dispensary is not the safest approach.
It would make sense that you need a special like hot food, cold food license.
And I think they're getting at that with some of these rules and regulations. You know, from the top, all products must be in child-resistant packages.
From the get-go, a slushy machine is illegal on that sentence alone.
Right? Because kids can get into a snow cone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Slushy,
and it looks...
any of it.
As far as what looks inviting to children, a giant snow cone machine.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that as a child.
Right?
Generally, this means the package must be difficult for a 5-year-old to open. Opaque, and if intended for multiple uses, for example, containing multiple servings, capable of being resealed while remaining child resistant.
Yeah, because you don't want them peeking in there, seeing what's going on. You know? they're kids. They can't be seeing gummies and other crazy stuff like that.
The medical marijuana production batch that must be tested is the finished product. So that's what we were talking about. You can't just make it in the morning and stick it in a big machine. In this instance, the finished product is the slushy mixture to be dispensed to patients' caregivers, not the syrup. If water, ice, or any other substance is added to the product, additional testing is required to ensure the product is safe for consumption and final product labeling is accurate.
So we need testers on site at the snow cone stand.
So it looks like we're going to open up an on-site testing snow cone business.
So taste testers, call in. We'll get you in line.
We're snow cone testing. Dispensaries are not allowed to alter, package, or label products. In addition, dispensaries must refuse to accept or return any medical marijuana products that have not been properly tested, packaged, and labeled by a licensed processor. So the entire slushy machine is, in 3 bullet points, completely illegal.
Unless they really step up the safety guidelines at your standard snow cone stand.
And think about,
I don't think so.
Is that thing cleaned properly every day?
I don't know. We got to ask the 13 and 14-year-olds working in those places how clean they are. I think that'll answer our question.
So as far as slushies, I'd like one, but you probably won't be able to get one soon after this.
And now you have guidance for all those multiple inquiries that have been calling into the OMMA trying to get their marijuana slushy business off the ground.
You now know what to do. You can't do it.
You have guidance now, and you need to step your game up if you're going to be out there and you're going to be competitive.
Right. And, well, it looks like the guidance is that you can't.
Well, they're saying that it's unlikely to meet requirements set forth by the rules because of the nature of the existing snow cone and slushy business. But the fact that they said unlikely means the door's open for a good business model to come in and be like, these are the safest, most medically sound slushies you have ever seen.
Right.
Alliteration aside, they're delicious.
Right. And since you said likely, I mean, that just opens the door to find a way, right?
Exactly. And
do you think they do that on purpose, or was that a mistake?
I think that they wouldn't say it that way unless they had to, which means that the rules leave wiggle room for a company that actually stays within this guidance and within these guidelines to get approval. But they said it's unlikely to meet the requirements. But these are the types of requirements that if you could meet with your product, they're suggesting,
it seems
maybe.
What if you just had a slushy machine and then sold distillate to put in the slushy? I feel like that would just skirt this whole issue.
I think that's what they're getting at right now is that when you introduce the distillate into
the machine,
when you introduce any variable into the distillate and then you try to dispense it to the public, you're dispensing something that wasn't tested. Like your testing doesn't match up with what's being given out to the public. It was changed before it got out there.
The distillate was tested, but not the distillate inside of that syrup.
Yeah, the water, the sugar that was added to it is madness. Who knows what it'll do? And when it's out there, it could give people energy, could make them sleepy.
Or you never know. It could have a weird reaction.
It could be allergic.
And that's what they're worried about, I'm assuming, is that somehow the syrup and the distillate makes a toxin, I would assume.
That's why we bring your medical expertise in here.
Yeah.
It's probably not the sugar rushes that they're looking out for.
That they're giving this so sought after guidance for.
Yeah,
Well, if anyone needs any more guidance on that, they don't give much.
No.
And I'd assume the medical marijuana slushy business isn't exactly popping with a bunch of competition right now.
But they do say that because slushies are considered food products and must be compliant with the Oklahoma State Department of Health Food Regulations, you might be able to find more information over at the OSDH Consumer Health Service Food website.
So I would assume you probably can't find too much over there, but they say you can.
It'd be like food handling guide. Like you get your good food handling practices in line, and then you follow these guidelines. I
would assume you have to probably follow the exact same guidelines as like a gas station with a Coke icy machine. You have to clean it properly. You have to show that it's inspected and not molding. And I doubt the dispensaries do. I don't know, but I doubt it.
You do that, and then your gas station attendant has a lab coat and goggles. And I think from there, you're pretty much in line with what they're setting up.
So at each gas station, you need a lab attendant. Okay, so yeah, I mean, good luck. Good luck with your snow cones there.
Yeah. Call us if you have any questions.
Call us if you have any questions. We won't give you a number to call. FDA reports on purity of commercially available CBD products. Washington, D.C. Fewer than half of the commercially available hemp CBD products tested this year by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration contain percentage of cannabidiol that are consistent with the product's labeling, according to the data provided by the agency in a recently released report to Congress. So you are not getting what you think you're getting.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. You probably never were. Here we go. According to the report, the FDA tested 147 CBD-specific products marketed for sale online, including tinctures, capsules, gummies, and beverages. 102 of those products provided information on the label indicating the specific percentages of CBD present in them. However, lab analysis confirmed that only 45% of those products contained actual amounts of CBD that were consistent with the product's advertising. That is less than half. That's almost half. A little less than half.
It's troubling. That's what it is. It's
so if you
troubling.
bought 10 CBDs, pretty much half of those wouldn't be what they said.
Or at least half the brands out there on the market aren't pushing what they're saying they're pushing.
Or it's a lab issue.
Oh, it could be a lab issue.
Because we all know that these labs don't test the same. There's limits of detection and limits of quantity, which I can't explain to you, but somebody could.
Well, you don't know what's going on if you don't have consistent testing results, and until there's,
some sort of
standards set down for the labs, there's going to be inconsistencies.
And that's going to be a huge overarching theme until they do it.
Mm-hmm. I think this is a huge deal to help that out, though. The FDA finally getting to do research on CBD is the type of stuff that'll provide the data that'll keep smaller, labs and smaller markets and stuff from taking advantage of consumers.
Right. Except the one issue I have with it is that, they're not really doing it. They're just like, hey, does this say it has stuff on it? No. Okay, it's almost like they're just like being cops. We're just going to get you in trouble and tell you that it's all fucked, but not give you actually any solutions. Because what this should say is, we looked at all the CBD, we came up with some regulations on how you should test it. And then we probably shouldn't even be reading this article because it's so complex that we don't need to read it. It should be something the labs. This should all be happening behind the scenes is what I'm saying. And none of it, I don't know if it's ever going to. You don't hear about anyone talking about this or doing anything about it. There's a group in Oklahoma called OK For You Approved, and they are trying to make some regulations. They want to go nationwide with them, but I don't know how they're going to do it. They're going to have to get a bunch of labs to sit down at the table together and I guess agree on something.
Well, I think that getting proper rules set down from the regulatory authority, which is the OMMA here in our state, or the state itself, is the only way to do it.
We're the one state that can research, besides the University of Mississippi, which if you look at here, actually, let me just bring this up. I wonder if I can find a photo of the University of Mississippi's weed. Let's see if we can Google this real quick. University of Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI, still use that. Cannabis. Now let's see if we can find a photo of this trash they're growing, because I've heard it is disturbing. And people that they that they tested on are like, we don't even feel high. They're getting like 4% THC on it.
It's just all the students. They're like, this, I grow better stuff in my dorm.
So Mississippi becomes the sole supplier of, here we go.
Of medical?
Mississippi becomes this. How did the University of Mississippi become the sole supplier of cannabis for FDA trials? Good stuff, right? Let's figure out how. National Institute of Health spends an estimated $150 million per year on marijuana research, all of which is sourced from one farm at the University of Mississippi. People don't realize that I run a farm in Mississippi that grows marijuana because I'm required to do so. Francis Collins, director of National Institute of Health. The fresh toast notes. Wait, so the director of the National Institute of Health is growing all the weed? But that's the only source that investigators can use. And it may be rather different than what you could get in one of the states where marijuana is now approved in terms of constituents. Long story short, I've heard that the weed they grow is terrible.
Well, that's what happens when the professors in the school are the one growing the weed.
Right.
So the people smoking it.
You need a bunch of stoners and growers to grow your weed.
At least to take care of it. you know.
And if that's the only thing that the FDA is using to test, well, then Oklahoma's in a great position because we're the only other state that is going to allow a research license. The only one on the planet. So here we come, FDA, with some better weed for you. Back to the CBD story. The findings are consistent with those numbers of other analysis, such as those here and here. Not going to click those. Which similarly report the amount of cannabidiol available in commercially distributed CBD hemp products typically differs significantly from what is advertised. And I still go back to the lab. Maybe it isn't significantly different. It's just being significantly differently tested by a significantly different method at a significant different lab.
Mm-hmm. These other ones that they're referring to are, one of them is potency of CBD products sold online often deviates from what is advertised, which is consistent kind of with this. But the other one is a lot of the CBD products are contaminated with heavy metals.
Wow. And
this one was looking at over 240 CBD infused products.
did you click the first here or the second here?
Second one, I think.
All right, we're clicking the second here. And that's, I mean, what have we been smoking our whole lives, everybody? Right. Metal implants?
I don't know if anybody's ever made a gravity bong, but it's not the safest materials that are usually incorporated to design it.
You just twist off that little thing from your ceiling fan.
Anyone ceiling fans?
Yeah, and that's probably not real brass, so you're smoking something weird on that first hit, guaranteed almost.
Yeah, there's definitely some unsafe coating of some sort on there.
I doubt anyone smoked the ceiling fan coatings to make sure it was safe for human consumption yet.
We'll send that down to Mississippi. We'll see if they can get any results on that.
And here's that second report. Majority of commercially available CBD products contaminated with heavy metals. I wonder what... I'd like to get one of these and smoke a joint so I could tell you guys what it was like to be contaminated with heavy metal
Like
smoke.
how heavy it feels?
Yeah.
Real heavy.
Like, do I have that metal taste in my mouth? Is there an indication? Different metals are going to do different things.
Do you feel like Colossus? You
Am
know,
I
what
just
does it
gonna
do?
fall over and die from metal lung? Most likely not. Because I remember the weed we used to smoke in high school. It was pretty much not weed, just dirt.
Yeah, dirt weed.
They would tell you that it had red hairs in it, so be careful.
This stuff, our parents' generation.
And that means that some weed we were smoking didn't have red hairs in it. What? Was that just leaves ground up, maybe? I would assume a lot of what we smoked early age was just leaves ground up.
I would think so. I mean, a lot of the stuff, I remember you'd get some stuff and it would be straight up dirt, twigs. Like it looked like they had gone outside and just kind of grabbed some stuff and just kind of wadded it up into a little kindling bundle and then smash it together with some saran wrap.
Right. And then 2 fingers deep and $20.
Yeah, it tasted about like that too.
So investigators reviewed over 240 CBD infused products. Their analysis determined that 70% of the products were found to be highly contaminated with heavy metals and lead and arsenic, herbicides like glyphosate, and a host of other contaminants, including pesticides. Damn. That's an alarmingly high. That's almost all of it.
It's troubling. Very troubling.
What's 70% of 240?
A lot.
Yeah. More than half.
Yeah. That's crazy.
In addition, more than half of these products tested contain percentages of CBD that were inconsistent with the product's labeling. Some products tested negative for any trace of CBD. What?
Jesus Christ.
So you didn't even get any CBD in some of these products. The results are consistent with those of previous reports, such as those here. Oh, God. That's a lot of here's, which similarly determined that many commercially available CBD-infused products are variable potency and may contain potentially harmful adulterants and heavy metals. They don't tell us how that could hurt us, though. Earlier this month, Normal submitted written testimony to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration recommending the FDA provide regulatory guidelines governing product manufacturing, standardization, and quality. And we agree. They definitely should.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope that they use Oklahoma's research instead of Mississippi's.
I mean, they can use it all. The more research, the merrier.
Well, the more the better.
The more data we can get, the better we'll know how much metal we're smoking.
I think this is a true testament to how resilient humans are. We've only had these type of testings for 2 years that can tell us that 70% of our products, CBD products, didn't even have CBD in them. And we've all been smoking weed our whole lives, and yet still no one's died, according to the statistics. And now we know that no one has died that was smoking 70% heavy metals and contaminants and adulterants.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff you were smoking didn't even have CBD in it. That's a testament to the human population as a resilient factor. So,
yeah, we've been smoking for years, thousands of years.
Thousands
it
of
goes
years
way back.
No testing.
6,000 years, something like that. 10,000 years.
Does it? Who was the first smoker?
We can check the timeline of world history back here, and we can see who was probably smoking. I'd say the mound cultures.
Yeah.
Back in
the mound cultures were definitely stoners.
3,000, 4,000 BC. Stonehenge. You told me they weren't high. I mean, if you go to South America, some of those places, they were yacked out, building irrigation systems up on the top of the Andes Mountains.
You don't build irrigation systems without a lot of blow.
Dude, I got an idea.
Smoke this.
See those mountains over there? Let's take all the water down here.
Put them on top of them.
Up there.
How do we do that? I don't know. Smoke this. It's coming to me, though. I had
the
idea with this stuff. Okay. I don't know how that audio is coming through, everybody, but you're going to just see the video. And the wonderful world of Disney. Okay, yeah, here they are, fighting. Dang, I wish I could show this to Carter. I wish we had a shared monitor somehow.
Send the link through. I can pull it up on mine.
So, okay, actually, just come around here real quick. We'll talk into the same mic, because I need you to see what happens here. As you can see, there's a gentleman in red here who is squaring off with a gentleman in white.
Do we need to take it back to the beginning? Do I need to see the...
There is no context.
Initial...
Yeah, that never really goes into why this happened.
Okay, so they're squared up.
They're squared up. Notice this woman right here. I don't know what she said, but as these two squared up, he just pops her. Did you see that?
Think she was saying anything there?
Watch, though.
Head out, arms back, in the middle of two men fighting.
Watch her. Fighting. Just out of nowhere, boom, hits her. Hits her for no reason, seemingly. Okay, he's going. Okay,
right here. We got two guys squaring up on each other. On the outside of the fight here, we got one lady, younger lady, on the left here, kind of trying to get in there, maybe doing some commentating, probably egging it on, if I had to guess. On the right, we got two other ladies, maybe a lady and a young girl, also trying to get involved there.
Now, they seem to be maybe together because of this identical hairdo.
I think they're wanting the fight to stop. I think they're saying that, y'all are being foolish, that this isn't something that needs to go on here.
And as we're looking at this,
maybe you ain't shit.
She still hasn't seemed to do anything to get what's coming.
No. Okay, so you got to understand her posture here. Her hands are in her back pockets, chest out, face, for some reason,
out
in
further.
The middle of these two guys about to fight.
Women are hilarious when people start fighting.
She's chin first, and she's talking shit.
And she gets that.
Clack. Right
now the guy in the red, I think he goes, okay, no, you're not going to hit my girl.
Whoa, I didn't even see her.
Punches the other girl.
Now,
so they both just hit each other's wives, my assumption.
I did not even see the young lady in white there coming in the back.
Yeah.
Big Mama?
Right, now you've got a motorized cart pulls into the middle of this.
I think that's where she came from. I think she may have rolled up. I think that was her cart, judging by her mobility. And that's her daughter, maybe.
Now the women that have been hit, they're all walking off. But I think the women are about to reignite this. Yeah, okay, he just walks over and punches her in the face.
Dude.
This is a Disney World.
See, that's why I wanted to see where she came from. I didn't even see where she came from, but she was clearly the one that was kicking it off. And now they're cool.
Nobody's social distancing.
Now, was this recent? April 1st. Oh, that's where it spread. That's how it spread.
And I believe this fight reignites.
Really?
I don't think this ends right here. Yeah, this doesn't end right here.
Okay,
yeah, so the women start fighting again.
Pause it. We're gonna need to
she just falls out of nowhere. Look at this. This woman just for no reason just goes down.
Lady in the striped. Well, she was in defense. Press pause. She was the one on the cart. She was the one that rolled up on the cart.
Okay, so she's got bad. We're gonna say she's got bad balance.
The soccer fall suggests that she's trying to get
virtue signals,
some sympathy. Yeah, and the girl that was sticking with her chin out, who got clocked initially, we didn't commentate on this, but she came out swinging.
She's not fighting.
She didn't get dropped. She immediately put the mitts up. Went in there.
She got popped in the face by a full-grown man, too.
And didn't go down.
For seemingly no reason.
Hands go up and she goes in.
So now she's fighting another woman. Both of these women have been punched by, I think, their own men.
Yeah, I can't tell who's with who anymore because how many women have been hit?
And he's back. Now you got the aggressor back, and he does not like this woman in the white.
Now we're gonna have a. Now we're gonna
does
have
not like her. Nobody is defending these women, so it makes you wonder what on earth is happening.
I want to know who her man is because she's the one person with no. Now another strange man comes up and tries to protect her. Now we're gonna play a game.
This
here
guy's placating.
Where
he's like, "Don't do it, don't do it."
If you haven't seen the video and you want to comment on it, you can try to comment and guess
what's happening,
the dynamic.
Who's with who?
I would say guess that race. Guess who was involved in the conflict based on the information that was given, based on the conflict at Disney World. If you haven't seen the video, how do you think it went down? Who do you think was involved?
And why is the guy in red so mad?
I think it's a pink. It's more of a fuchsia. You know, he's being hard, but I think it's more of a fuchsia.
Look, now the woman's back. Oh, he's mad at the girl. If I'm a woman, I'm not turning my back on this guy.
This one guy has wandered around and hit 3 women.
And now he just grabbed another one by the hair.
Same one. This is the first one. This is his girl.
Okay, so that's his girl.
I think he's just getting her in check.
It's the security is yet to be called. This is a 3-minute altercation that I'm sure started before 3 minutes. He's now punching his own girl.
I think.
So this woman has been hit by both men now.
It's hard to tell who she's with at this point.
She may not be with him.
She may just be a commentator on the fight.
And so he is just now he's dragging her by the hair.
Yeah,
It's just a family.
This was an uninvolved woman. No, an uninvolved woman got drug into the conflict somehow.
And now he's being subdued by multiple men.
Yeah, so we have yet to see any of the standard issue Disney security guards come on scene.
Yeah, that old lady hasn't showed up to arrest him yet.
They must all be at the front gate trying to keep people from bringing marijuana and stuff into the park.
They're keeping marijuana and CBD out. They're not. Oh wait, there's a security
There
guard.
he is.
And
He
then
showed
there's
up.
that. What is that
Oh.
with the hair?
Those must be additional part. That is not standard issue. I don't know who that.
No, they don't have.
I
They
don't
don't
know who
have
they
guns.
They may be medics. They're in white.
Now this woman is probably the toughest person we've ever seen. She's been
She
hit
didn't
in
go
the
down
face.
once.
She's been beaten up by 2 dudes. He's still confused as to why y'all stopping me.
Right? He's like, where's
And
she at?
security has yet to approach. The only guy causing all of this is the dude in the pink fuchsia.
I know. They went after the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Security's gone again. Pink Fuchsia's out here just talking trouble and
Security
trying
bailed.
to start a fight again. Oh, there we go.
That guy looks like
This
he's
guy
here,
has
but
an
nobody's
actual
stopping
suit.
him. He's
He might
going
be
right
head
back
of
to these
security.
women. He's about to grab a lady. Oh God.
This guy in the suit looks like...
Where did this
Oh,
continue
wow.
going? Right?
Okay.
That's beautiful. And so,
Tell us who you think was involved.
if anyone has any extra footage of that, we'd love to see if he kept beating these women. And oh wait, here's another one. Jeez. Okay, we're done watching Disney fights. This is it's a family establishment. The whole point of this is that you can't bring weed in there, but you can get into a vicious brawl and beat up your wife, mom, and girlfriend if you want.
Yeah, and I don't think he was on weed. You know, to be honest,
That doesn't look like a man possessed by pot.
I don't think he was on anything. If he was on anything, it was alcohol.
So going back
To have that type of aggression towar's every woman in sight, I feel like that's...
it seemed just
not-
being a woman was enough to get him to attack you that day.
He really wasn't going after any men at all.
No, I mean him and that one guy squared off, but it wasn't much
He didn't
before
throw any punches at him.
No, those 2 guys actually did not swing on each other. The one guy hit that girl who got hit multiple times, but they didn't actually
Still
fight
standing.
each other.
Still standing.
So to bring
We'll
it back
call her the
around,
champ.
we're going to bring our last of the Beer Bros Farms. What they had to say here about this Disney World. They didn't. And now how they didn't mention the fights on this Instagram post. I mean, I don't know.
Did you get to see the standard issue security guard uniforms that I sent you through on the...
Oh, let's look at that,
chat?
actually. Yeah, actually, we're going to show you the standard. This is what a
I mean,
Disney...
we can come back to that when we see all the people that wrote in to
Yeah.
guess the dynamic of the fight.
Forgot about this. Here, let's show you guys the... All right, our standard security Disney. For more details, visit the hub for work for Disney look. You got to have the white shirt. Now, these people did have this on. Yeah. Required for all security hosts. Optional for hostesses. Sleeves must not extend past costume shirt sleeve. Like that they're calling a costume. Hat to be worn centered on head. Shirt. Is this real?
Mm-hmm. This is what pulled up. I was curious about what the standard issue uniform was, and Sure enough, the Disney look is described as standard security uniform, set out in bullet point with images of both of your standard size and build of security guards you'll be seeing at the park.
A small old woman or a normal-sized old black male.
Yeah, tall, thinner, older gentleman.
But definitely nobody that could subdue a large, physically fit man on a tirade to beat any woman he sees.
They don't have the future power.
So, if you want to be a security guard at Disney, there you go. But make sure you don't smoke weed. Thanks for listening to the podcast, everybody.
Yeah.